Lisa Bell, everybody. Give it up for Lisa Bell and her beautiful voice. Woo! That was beautiful. That was spectacular. How many of you know that you could do anything? I do. I'm doing it. Go figure. So this sounds really interesting. There's like a little reverb this morning, so I'm feeling like a rock star with the reverb. Woohoo! So I do want to say welcome, love and blessings to each and every one of you. So grateful to see you, to embrace you, and to have you here. Know that our core council, we deliberated this week over whether to do the Thanksgiving dinner potluck after the service because of the Broncos game that started at 11. So I'm just so grateful for all of you for coming out despite that, because we have a ton of Bronco fans in this community. So just know that we have a core council member cooking the turkey as we speak, basting it, getting it all delicious for us, and we have a few others that have shown up to support us in this experience. And I want you to know, if you did not bring something for the potluck, please stay anyway. If you're planning on staying, or if you don't have anywhere to go, we'll have more than plenty of food, and you are so welcome to come and join in community and dine with us. You know, what is our theme for this month? Anybody know? Get real? Let's get real, all right? Let's get real. And we really have been doing that a lot this month, haven't we? We've been getting real, and it's been exciting. It's been empowering. It's been inspiring. It's changing lives all over the place. And so this has been so much fun preparing for this Sunday's talk, for this Sunday's message, because we're talking about the key, truly the key that unlocks an extremely fulfilling life. And that key is gratitude. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, how do we get real with gratitude, right? What is there that we really need to get real around with gratitude? Well, guess what? We're going to dive right into it and jump right into it. What you see behind me here is a Wordle that I created 2 years ago when I first arrived here. And during the Thanksgiving service, I handed out paper and I asked everybody to write down what they were thankful for, the thing that they were mostly thankful for in their life. And we collected those up, and I did this Wordle, and it came out. I mean, it's powerful, isn't it? Look at the biggest word there. Love. Love and gratitude and abundance and appreciation, commitment, community. And so it came out so pretty that Ross, one of our core council members, made the picture that we now have in our service in the back every single Sunday, and I just love that. Thank you so much, Ross. I absolutely love it. And so this is what we're talking about, folks, but we're going to dive into it really deeply today. And you know how here at the center we always like to start out with a little something funny, kind of to get us rolling. So I provided this just in case you meet up with this sometime on Thursday or anytime this week. You know, here she's got her hands on her hips. That is not what I meant when I asked you to carve the turkey. So we'll find out what Art's done with the turkey when he arrives, because he's cooking it for us. So we'll see if he carves a pumpkin face out of it. And in celebration of the completion of our very successful Philosophy of Jesus class that had been going on for these last few weeks, we had a daytime class and a nighttime class, and it was a super wonderful class. And in celebration for that, I've provided the next slide. I just had to, folks. That's what we're talking about. We had a very powerful class. I just had to. So you never know. You never know. Jesus was here, and he definitely turned that water into wine. Now, I cannot possibly talk about gratitude without bringing up Melody Beattie. For some of you know, she's kind of been a guru of gratitude. She wrote a wonderful gratitude book. I think now back in the 80s, it certainly made a big difference in my life. And her most powerful, poignant quote is the foundation of our message this morning. And that quote is this: gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos into order, confusion to clarity. It can turn a meal into a feast, a house into a home, a stranger into a friend. Gratitude makes sense of our past. It brings peace for today and creates a vision for tomorrow. And just breathe that in, folks. Because we're going to talk about each one of those areas today, and just breathe that in. And you know, that quote doesn't make a shallow claim. It does not. How many of you know for a fact that what I just read in this quote is true and has been applied to your life in some way, shape, or form? Absolutely. I'd say that's most of you. Absolutely. And so last week, I invited you to go through the whole week without any complaints. How'd y'all do? Do you remember that? Did you have a week of no complaints? Did you notice any difference in your life when you let go of the complaining? Anybody? Do you notice a difference? There's a big difference in my life. No complaining whatsoever. I just love that. And so there's this guru, this guru Zen master. Her name is Sono. And this is her life teaching. It is based on this one particular phrase: I am grateful for everything. I have no complaints whatsoever. I am grateful for everything, and I have no complaints whatsoever. So the story is about this Zen master, Sono, who taught that one simple method of enlightenment to everybody. And everybody she met, she taught that. She advised everyone to come to her to adopt that affirmation as a part of their daily life. And people would travel from all over to go see this Zen master Sono because they would hear about what a major difference she had made in so many people's lives, where she had created this life full of peace and fulfillment for so many people that people would travel. And when they would get there and they would share their troubles or their problems with her, that's what she'd say. Every single one of them. I am grateful for everything. I have no complaint whatsoever. Some people had a hard time hearing that. Some people argued with her. Some people kind of stomped away mad. But you know what? Some people listened to her and decided to go ahead and apply that to their life. And it truly changed their life immensely. So just in this moment, imagine having no complaint whatsoever, and approaching anything and everything that we approach, if it happens to show up in our lives different than what we expected. You know those expectations, how we like to see things unfold, and sometimes they don't unfold that way. And we can be like, I don't want it to look like that. What if we approached it with, I have no complaint whatsoever? What if we approached it with, I am grateful for everything? And we're going to talk about that a little bit more next week. But folks, just imagine, just the ability that you in this moment, you're alive, you have clothes on your back, you have a community that is beautiful and loving and would absolutely do anything for you. We have beautiful music from this incredible songstress over here. We have incredible food that we're getting ready to take in. And I would venture to say that most of us have a fairly clean and warm and safe place to live. Would you say? I am so grateful, and I have no complaints whatsoever. And if we apply that in every aspect and area of our life, it's going to make a huge difference in your life. So I'm going to share with you some tips from Bonnie Lansbury. And she talks about how and this is about the getting real part, folks, about how gratitude, she feels gratitude is kind of overdone. It's over-talked about. People talk about gratitude all the time, but do they really practice it? She says, what's the deal with this gratitude thing? We talk about how important gratitude is, but is anybody really doing anything about it? Are they changing their life with gratitude? Are you changing your life with gratitude? I'm asking you that now. So she says, it has the ability to truly rock our lives. And it does. How many of you know that? So for those that didn't raise your hand, we're going to get into that today. And then she goes on to say, now understand, I'm not talking about that surface level gratitude, like if you when you were little and somebody did something nice for you, your mom's like, what do you say? You've been there, right? You might have even said that to a child at one time. What do you say? And they're like, thank you. She's not talking about that. We're talking about something a little bit different. We're talking about gratitude that is deeply and profoundly felt. Gratitude that is deeply and profoundly felt, so much so that when I talked a minute ago about the clothes on our back and the delicious feast and the beautiful songstress voice that we just got to hear, and that, fairly clean, somewhat warm, safe place that we have to put our heads on, if we were to truly go within and feel that abundance and truly feel the gratitude within us for even having what I just pointed out was most likely so for all of us in this room, that's that truly profound, deep gratitude and appreciation for someone or something in your life. And that's what we're talking about. Do you all feel it? You know the difference, right? Yeah, absolutely. Well, when we apply that in a somewhat consistent basis in our life, it will change your life. I am not kidding. And I get to talk about my husband because he's not here today. Woohoo! So I can tell you this. My husband, I am so proud of him for applying the teachings that we teach here and going to classes. Something came up for him a couple of months ago that most people would be like, oh, bummer, dude, that's really not cool. And it was kind of a hardcore thing. And he chose to apply the principles of the teaching in the classes that he'd been taken here in this beautiful teaching that we teach, the science of mind and spirit. And so he decided to not let it eat his lunch. He decided to put it away and to change his perspective of this thing that had occurred in his life. And he decided to turn to gratitude. And he practiced daily gratitude around this. He practiced, without him really knowing that he was doing it, what the Zen master was practicing, saying, I am grateful for everything, and I have no complaints whatsoever. And he did it every day, and he did it every day. And folks, this major bummer thing that came up for him was a major bummer thing. I mean, it was not great. I mean, it was a really big financial hardship. And by moving into practicing what he practiced, not only did he resolve and dissolve the major thing, but he's like 5 times doubled his salary just in a couple of months. Just by applying these principles, he has changed his life by feeling gratitude about it. Now that's powerful. Did that touch any of you all? I mean, it's powerful for me because I got to witness it. But it's powerful because this stuff really works, and this is what Bonnie's talking about. She says, think about it. Our thoughts and our feelings create our reality. Feeling good literally draws to you more things to feel good about. And she says that most of the time we're usually focused on the future, thinking and feeling about what your life would be when you have the dream, when you've done that, when you've been able to reach that. Gratitude is supercharged, folks, because when we're feeling it, we're in the moment. We're in the present moment. And we feel gratitude about something in our life, and our life is filled with that love. And we can focus on financial health. We can focus on love. We can focus on health, on the earth, whatever. And it's currently being felt in your life. We talk a lot about how the mind creates in the direction of your focus. So if we go around complaining about something, what do you think we're going to create more of? And if something comes up in our life that we truly, we don't really want to say yes to, we get to accept it for what it is, be grateful for everything is what that means to me, and have no complaints whatsoever. So when we don't complain, we're moving to what? We're moving to something else. We're shifting that energy, right? Yes. Yes, we are. And so that is what that's all about, and I know that that's what she's talking about. Gratitude also strengthens the belief that we are the creator of our world. when we feel gratitude for everything that's in our life, everything, we are becoming the creator of what we generally want more of. And it's really powerful to know that we're the creator in our own world. It strengthens this idea that our universe is benevolent and that good things come to us, no matter what. So when you are feeling gratitude, we generally resonate pure, unadulterated joy and love and thankfulness. So gratitude is the most powerful key ever to unlocking the fullness of your life. But wait, there's more, right? There's more. Gratitude feels wonderful. Gratitude connects us with the rest of the world. Gratitude connects us with you and I. It's a unification aspect. So there's a story about the whale. Have you guys heard the story about the whale right off of the coast of San Francisco? The whale that was incredibly bound up by ropes and traps, crab traps. It was a female humpback whale, and she was entangled in spider web crab traps and lines, and she was so weighted down by the pounds of those traps that it was causing her to struggle to stay afloat. And eventually, if she couldn't stay afloat, she was not going to live. She was not going to be able to breathe. And a particular fisherman found her that way, discovered her that way, and knew that he couldn't do anything by himself, so he radioed in for help. It took a few hours, but several boats came out with divers to help, and after assessing the situation, they discovered that each diver was going to have to cut each line by hand. That was the only way that they were going to get this whale freed. It was what they would consider a dangerous thing to take on, because just one little slap of her tail or one little slap of anything that she did, because she's of enormous size, it would wipe a little old diver out. But they all did it. They all got together, jumped in the water with their little curved knives, and they spent a long time cutting away each one of those lines. And they freed her. And as soon as the last line was cut, it said that she swam in these joyful circles for a long time, and they knew that she was joyful. She was so full of joy. And then after swimming in those joyful circles, she went up to every single diver and nudged them and said thank you with her eyes, with the behavior of her body. And the diver that actually cut the cord that had her mouth all wrapped up, he said that her eye watched him the entire time, and he could feel her love and gratitude in staring at him. That's what we're talking about, is that level of gratitude. It creates this essence of oneness, that we're connected, and that, like I shared last week, today you, tomorrow me. It's a big part of this unification that takes place for us and one another. And that's one of the beautiful benefits of when we use gratitude to unlock the fullness of life. It isn't just for us, folks. It affects everyone in our life. My life is so incredibly great right now because I happen to have this husband that's been practicing these exercises and living his life in this way, and my life has blossomed from it. Let me just tell you. It's wonderful. On his own, he planned this incredible date for me. He's taking me to the symphony. Most of you know that's like my favorite thing in the world to do, and he did that all on his own. It's like he's got all these outlets now to express his gratitude and his joy. That's what we're talking about. It doesn't just affect us. It affects everyone in our life. In your workplace, in your community, your love relationships, your friends. It's so cool. So that's the story about the whale. And so that's where I meant, wait, there's more. But wait, there's more. Because when we truly experience gratitude on a consistent basis in our life, it will change your life. It will also change the life of all of those around you. How cool is that? Sign me up. I'm ready to sign up for that. So it does this thing, it opens our hearts, it connects us to our soul, it lifts us to a higher resonance. Gratitude, practicing gratitude in a consistent way makes me more. It makes me more of a loving presence, more of a giver, more of a radiant being, more of somebody that can see and appreciate more in life to be grateful about. And my friends, how better to actually create peace on this planet than to do that? So I know that when I'm consistently practicing gratitude, it's making me more peaceful as well. And how much of us believe that we can all use a big dose of that right now in our world? Amen to that, right? So I've got a few steps that I'd like to go through with you. 5 ways to allow gratitude to create magic in your life. Because as Bonnie pointed out, simply saying thank you isn't quite the energy that we're talking about here. We're referring to that soul level connection, that soul level of going within and truly feeling the emotion of gratitude. So the very first one is to make gratitude habitual. Just like last week when I asked you to give up complaining for a whole week and I promised you that it would change your life, I am making you a promise. If you were to make gratitude habitual in your life more consistently than you may be doing it now, I promise you, your life will become more fulfilling. I promise you that. And so you want to write it in a journal or do a gratitude document on your computer if you're not much of a handwriter. Do it in the shower or when you get dressed or something that you do on a daily basis. So when you came in and sat down today, you were handed a little notebook. And raise your hand if you didn't get one, because I know there's some folks that showed up after the service started. So we'll get you a notebook. So raise your hand and we'll get you a notebook. Anybody not have one? Great. Okay, so that is a gift to start practicing number 1. And you can decorate it, make it pretty and fancy. You know, I'd like to have done that, but wasn't able to do that before this morning. But that's your little gratitude journal. So I am inviting you for number 1, make gratitude habitual. If you already have a gratitude practice, great, add this one to it. Either in the morning or at night before you go to bed, write in there at least one thing that you're grateful for. We do 3. Tony and I do 3 every single night of what we're grateful for that day. It generally turns out to be more than 3, but do at least 3 or do at least 1. Just do something to make gratitude habitual in your life. So you have your journal, put it by your bedside or put it by your coffee maker in the morning, but whatever you do, write something in it daily that you're grateful for, okay? We're making gratitude habitual. So we also want to make gratitude specific. The more specific we are, the more magic of the gratitude will be present. And you might say, why? Why is that important? Because you're feeling more of it. Simplicity deepens the gratitude, okay? So instead of, and here's an example of what I mean, instead of saying, I'm grateful for my friend who took the kids so I could get some rest, you could think, I am so grateful for my friend Mary, who despite being crazy busy with her own 3 kids and running a part-time business, was gracious and loving enough to take my kids so I could rest and heal my body from this cold. I felt renewed and restored, and I just so appreciate her love, kindness, generosity, and caring. So which one felt deeper to you? Was it the second one? Right. So be specific with your gratitude. Because when we're specific with our gratitude, we're putting out there what more we are bringing into our lives. You see, that beautiful example that Bonnie shared was, I felt renewed and rested, and I just so appreciate her love, kindness, generosity, and caring. Do you know what Bonnie's bringing more into her life? Love, kindness, generosity, and caring. And also healing how she feels about her cold. So that's number 2. Make gratitude specific. And Tony and I kind of have turned this into a fun game, because when we tell each other the 3 things that we're grateful for every night, it could take quite some time because we're being very specific. Well, let me tell you what I'm grateful for. This thing that happened today, and I'll share, all the people and parts that was a part of it. And when I'm doing it, I feel the passion and the gratitude just well up in my body because I'm telling him this. And it's causing me to feel it again. So do you see why it's important to make gratitude specific? Number 3, spread it across your life. Be grateful for everything. Do you ever catch yourself tending to focus kind of in one category or compartment of your life? There's a whole other life going on. So how about we spread our gratitude across everything? Don't just stop being grateful with your kids or with your partner or with your family or your coworkers or your home or your job. Include it all. Include every bit of it. And extend that gratitude to your body. Extend that gratitude to the earth. Wow. Right? We talked about that the first Sunday of this month. All the different things that we can do to bring this healing presence and peace and restoration to this planet. We can extend our daily gratitude to the earth, can't we? Extend it to your own love and the fact that you're being loved. Extend it to your country, to your abilities, to all of the beauty around you. When we start being grateful for all the beauty around us, guess what we attract more of? Beauty around us. If we start expressing and experiencing gratitude for all of the beauty around us, then anything that we would normally see as not beautiful generally gets cleaned up. It generally gets restored back into the beauty of what we would like it to be like. And it happens automatically, folks. We don't have to nag anybody about it. Get it? Did you get that? Maybe? Okay. Some of you got that, some of you didn't. Like if you've got a honey-do list or a to-do list and things just aren't getting done in the house, and every time you walk by it, you're like, oh, it's not done again. Oh, when's he going to do this? That's probably not going to get it done. But if we start exuding gratitude for all of the beauty around us, guess what? That honey-do list becomes pretty short. Anywhere, not even at home, but at work. Or with your friends. It happens everywhere and anywhere. So extend that gratitude to include everything. The more you are grateful for both the little and the big things in every category possible, the more you will feel gratitude all day long, and your life will change. I promise you. So sometimes take the time to savor the gratitude. You know how I mentioned in number 1, make gratitude habitual, about writing at least 1 or 2 or 3 things down in your gratitude journal every day. And sometimes I get it. You're busy. You've got a lot of things going on. And you've got a lot of things to think about. And it might be all you can do to just jot something in there on a daily basis. But every now and then, stop to actually feel it. That's why when you become specific, it helps towards that. But as you're going through your week and as you're going through your month, because I'm going to invite you to do this for an entire month, because it's really going to change your life if you do this. While you're going through it, if you had just enough time to get that down in your gratitude journal, that's fine. But what if you catch yourself having a little bit of free time, take that precious, sacred, delicious moment and savor what you're grateful for and feel it. And allow yourself to well up in it, just like the whale. Imagine the whale. Do the little joyful swim in circles. I mean, in your mind. You don't necessarily have to swim in circles in your life, but do that joyful swim and savor the deliciousness of whatever is before you to be grateful for. And I want you to know, I know that, well, to a certain extent, depending on how you're interpreting it, life is not always perfect. But there's always something to feel grateful for. There is always something. Gratitude is a spiritual experience. It's more than a human one. And when we connect to that feeling of gratitude in our soul level, in that spiritual way, we are so much more connected to our higher self. And that's what I meant earlier when I said you become more. You become more connected. Just like the humpback whale. We're more connected. We're one. And then 5, be grateful in advance. So once you have gratitude down, imagine the wonderful things that happen in the future. Imagine feeling immensely grateful for them now. You know, we all have these goals, these aspirations, these affirmations that we're making in our life. How about we practice gratitude for that which we know we are attracting into our life right now? How about that? Whatever it is. It could be a beautiful, clean house. It could be greater compensation for the good work that you do. It could be any of those things. But if you were to, if you were to sit here in this moment, whatever your affirmation is of what you are drawing more into your life of, if you were to sit and feel grateful in this moment, the energy that you are vibrating to in this moment is raising to the level of the energy that's vibrating to that which you want to bring into your life. And when that connection is made, the powerful force of the law of attraction will bring it to you. That's how it works. So number 5, feel grateful for even that which you desire to bring more into your life. We practice that a lot in our prosperity class. Oh, and see, I thought I missed 4. I wasn't sure. Thank you, because you're like 4. I'm like, 4, baby. Sometimes. It was savoring gratitude. I covered that. So number 1, make gratitude habitual. Number 2, make gratitude specific. Number 3, spread it across your life. Be grateful for everything. Number 4, savor the gratitude. Remember when I said if you're in a hurry and it's all you can do is to get it down in your journal, that's fine. But if you catch yourself with some extra time, savor it. Bring that deliciousness into it. And then 5, be grateful in advance. We practice that a lot in our prosperity classes. Mary Manning Morrissey does this exercise where she has us turn around in a circle and act like we're greeting somebody a year from now or 5 years from now, and they're so excited because they want to hear about how our life has changed and blossomed and become more of. You know, when we're telling that story in the present moment, we're vibrating and becoming aligned to that energy that allows us to attract it into our lives. The mind creates in the focus of its direction, and then the direction of its focus. That's how it works, folks. This isn't some kind of hokey-dokey, weeby-jeeby, weird kind of stuff. It happens to be the same laws as magnets work or as the law of gravity works. It's all energy. And we're vibrating at the level of energy that is in alignment with that which we desire to bring into our life. It happens. And we don't even have to worry about the how. So there's this thing called gratitude that's going on in our life. And I know that when we bring it more into our life in a consistent way, we will change our life in amazing ways. Amazing ways. And I can't wait to hear all of your stories a month from now about all the different ways that you notice just by paying attention and deeply feeling gratitude for whatever it is that you choose to feel gratitude in your life. I can't wait to find out how it's blossomed and flourished, how it has created something completely awesome. And another thing that happens in the key to unlocking the fullness of our life is it can also clarify and bring us to our purpose in life. That's pretty powerful and amazing. And I'm going to tell you a quick story on how that happens. There was this guy named Scott McCauley. He's older now. He's in his 50s now. But in September of 1985, he was 24, and his folks decided to get divorced. And he was taught to be a good son. And so he said, I needed to be supportive and loving to each parent and to my siblings, but nobody was talking to anybody. He said it was not kind of a pretty sight. And he said, and if I was nice to one parent, the other one would get mad at me. So when October came, I thought, oh my God, what's going to happen at Thanksgiving? This is going to be awkward, right? And so he thought, I don't want to do it alone at home, and I certainly don't want to create a massive war, so what am I going to do on Thanksgiving? He went within, and he thought to himself, Thanksgiving's not about gifts. It's not about fireworks. It's not about any great hoopla. He says it's a meal around a table where you give thanks for the blessings that you have, and you really can't do that by yourself. So he really didn't want to be alone. So he put an ad in the local newspaper. And he said that if people thought they would find themselves alone, they could give me a call and I would make a Thanksgiving dinner. The first year, a few people came, and they had a good time. He was a little nervous about making a mess of the food and disappointing people, but the food was okay, he said, and I didn't burn anything that first year. He's held that Thanksgiving dinner every single year since then. He has up to about 84 people, 85 people now on an annual basis. He says that people show up because they're new in town, they don't know anybody. They show up because they've been recently divorced or widowed. I've had people to where they were new in the country and didn't speak any English, but they enjoyed the cooking and they enjoyed being around people. He said, I've had poor people, I've had people who come from AA, I've had old people, I've had young people. People just that don't want to be alone on this special holiday. He said also, not counted with that number is he always feeds the police. He says the firefighters and the EMTs are all in buildings with kitchens where they get to eat together, but the police ride around on their own in their cars, and they don't have a way to sit down to a meal on Thanksgiving. So he invites all the police in his area too. He said that 2 years ago, a woman with Parkinson's disease came, and she was not good on her feet. She had been in a nursing home for 7 years and had never been outside of the building. Somebody told her about the Thanksgiving dinner that he did every year, and she hired an ambulance to bring her to the house and to help her get out and share a Thanksgiving meal with other people. She said it was the most important thing she'd ever done in her life. He goes on to say, most of the people who come don't know who I am. They know that there's some skinny guy in the kitchen, but they don't know my name. And he says, I think it's the theme of my life. Everything that I do could be summed up with the name of an old hymn called Brighten the Corner Where You Are. I hope my legacy will be that I came into this world and brightened the corner of where somebody was and then quietly left the world unnoticed. That was his purpose. And he found it through the practice of what Thanksgiving meant to him and what Thanksgiving dinner meant to him. Isn't that a beautiful story? Think of all the lives that were impacted and affected and the corners of their lives that he had made beautiful from that. I just love that story. And so folks, that's really my desire all the time, is for you to never go through a Thanksgiving alone, or never to have anybody around you go through that holiday alone. So my invitation to you is, if you are fixing a Thanksgiving dinner on Thursday, reach out to somebody if you know that they're going through something right now. Reach out to somebody if you know they're alone. Just extend that invitation and make an extra seat at the table. Think about how powerful that is in our community. Would you all be willing to do that? Maybe? Some of you? Think of that story. And if you're not cooking Thanksgiving dinner, if you've got other plans, great. If you happen to be going somewhere and can take somebody, great. Just ask the host or the hostess. But I know you get where I'm coming from there, right? About practicing this holiday of gratitude and Thanksgiving and not doing it alone, but being able to share the love of community together. And that's one of the reasons why it was super important to me that we continue to host the Thanksgiving potluck after the service. I don't care if there's a football game going on. I don't care if there's a ton of people out traveling to be with their families on Thanksgiving. We're here, and I want to sit down with my community, the people that I love and adore and cherish beyond measure, and I want to share a meal with them and say thank you for absolutely everything that you do and for everything that you are. And so I have, and I can't see, do we have time for it? I have a little gift. I've shown this before, and you guys can vote. I have this beautiful video that's all on gratitude, and if you feel like watching it, we will. If you feel like you'd rather get to the food, we'll get to the food. So how many of you want to watch it? You guys want to watch it? Awesome. That was most of you. So Eric will pull it up. It is an absolute beautiful video about being grateful and having those keys, that key in life that unlocks the fulfillment. It starts with gratitude. And once we get that ball rolling, that gratitude ball rolling, it opens up all of these other areas in our life. And while he's pulling the video up, everybody got a blank piece of paper in their journal. So we're going to do this again this year. I'd like you to write on that piece of paper the things that you're grateful for, and we're going to collect them. Okay? And if you need a pen, we have baskets of pens. So who needs a pen? Just raise your hand. The baskets are full of pens. Go ahead and write down what you're grateful for. And when we pass the basket for our offertory, go ahead and drop it in the basket.
Some shows that